What's up, peeps? How's it going? Welcome back to another video. That on that screen there is me. I did not manage to edit yesterday's video before I fell asleep because I had a few drinks. I was drinking some Strongbow, and then I came back home. I think it was only around 7 p.m., but I went straight to bed. Silly Billy over here. So now I've just got up and I got to sit through the edit for this video and piece it together. So that's how I'm starting my day today. I didn't really explain a lot what I was doing yesterday, but it's okay. The video I made is still quite long. It's 2 hours long, and I don't have to show everything. Well, I didn't. I just wasn't able to really pick up the camera. It didn't even really cross my mind. But I mean, that's talking about a portion of what happened. Whereas I still got a pretty long video. And you know what? I told myself it doesn't matter how much I get. It just matters that I get something, and then I put it on every day. That's all I really need to do. Not need. That's all I really want to do. Not want. That's all I've really decided that is what I'm going to do. To have some kind of strict structure that once a day, every day, I post a video on YouTube of me, a daily vlog. So that's what this is. If you're watching this and it's the first time you're watching it, that's what this is for. I post a video every single day. End of story. More. One of the YouTube channels that I like the most recently, and I've been watching a lot of, is Gary Eats. Gary Eats. He basically just goes around eating food and he films his videos of him doing that. I'm thinking about the fact that I should do something fairly similar. It's a plan. It's an idea. I'd like to do it. I'm gonna do it. Yeah. I'm not sure if I really have to compete with other YouTubers. It's one way to think about it. I could try incredibly hard to get more subscribers, get more views. I'm not sure I care all that much. It's more just like about status to be able to say how many subscribers you have. As a bit of an ego boost, but I don't really need an ego boost. I already feel pretty good about myself, so I don't know that I'm all that interested in really playing that game of like competition, and I would imagine it might make it quite unfun to actually do YouTube in that way. I'm not sure I really want to do it in that way. I like the way that other people do it, where it's just, here it is, this is my life. I mean, that's kind of what I'm going for. It's unfiltered. It's not pretty. It is what it is, and there may be some beautiful beautiful moments, but you're gonna get all the ugly ones as well, and that's just how it's gonna be for my channel. I'm keeping it real. Uh, I'm just thinking about really what inspires me. Excuse me, and I'm thinking about what I'm actually going to really do and focus on when I'm in London, because it's going to be very soon. I'm going to be there, living there in the flat, and I'm going to wake up every day and say, I want to make a great YouTube video today. What can I do to make a great YouTube video? I think a lot of that is going to be like, well, I should go get some food somewhere that is more interesting and try and make a YouTube video out of that. I'll see how difficult it is to actually get that done. I'm not sure if I'll need someone else to actually film it or if I'll be able to do it selfie style, vlog style. But for the most part, I'll just be then like walking around London and then sharing little bits and pieces of my thoughts. It's a lot more about that. It's a lot more about the spiritual, the mental, the emotional, than it is the physical. It's a bit like what I was talking about yesterday. Like for me, my YouTube channel, it's more of like a psychological sort of dump of information, and that's how it started off, and that's how it's been going now for like 38 days. Today is day 38. So 38 days in, um, it's not changed really. And I've done a couple of vlogs where I'm showing like, here's what I'm doing, here's what I'm buying, here's where I've been, etc., etc. But I'm not doing quite so much of that as a person might think. But it is a daily video, so I'm just putting out daily content, and if you don't like it, you don't watch it, and if you like it, you can watch it. That's as simple as it is. So I'm not really looking for anyone else's approval, and I don't really care whether I get their approval or not. If I get loads of people that suddenly start watching my videos and saying, "Oh, it's so great, we love your videos," whatever, I'll be like, "Yeah, right, cool, nice," and then just get on with whatever it is I'm doing. It's not like I really revel in like glory, or like I need the ego boost. Like I was saying, I'm not really doing it for those reasons. So I think I'm just thinking about the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing and what it is I'm trying to get out of it. I think I've realised I'm not really trying to get anything out of it apart from, for me, it is just a conversation with Cam. That's all I'm doing. It's me talking, and obviously Cam hasn't got much to say, but it's like it's just a psychological dump of whatever's going on in my head, like a brain dump, a brainstorming session, and I'm okay with that. And like I said, I think, in the future, when in London, make slightly more complex style videos, because I'll be going to places all the time. But it might just be a bit more of like a Michael Barrymore style, where it's like, right, let's go to the shop and I'll show you what I'm getting. And it'll just be me eating food and stuff like that. But I'm not really that big on food. I might go more down the exercise route as well. That's a bit of a plan, is to get down the gym and stuff. But and then also, like, if I'm getting into like musical situations, because I got some work lined up, and I got a bunch of people that want to play with me. So when I get to London and I start playing with people again, musically, maybe I can get some more vlog content of them. I mean, the best thing that I can do is just keep it to like, if you want to know the content of the category of what it is that I'm actually making, or sorry, not the content of the category. If you want to know the category of the content that I'm making, it's just a daily video. That's all it is. So it's whatever's happening in my life, that's what you're going to see. It's not going to come into a category of like this thing or that thing. So it's not going to be food. It's not going to be music. It's not going to be talks. It's going to be all of that. It's going to be none of that. It's going to be whatever it is. It's whatever I'm doing on a day. That's what it's going to be. So have no expectations with these videos to be anything in particular. There will be no label that you can put on these that will make it make sense, apart from daily vlog. That's the best way to think about it. And yeah, it's every day. It will be every day. It will continue to be every day. I really have embraced the daily grind now of just pumping out these videos. And it's so straightforward to me now to see what the appeal is that all the people that I've been watching for years have just been talking about. Because I've watched all these interviews and podcasts, and it's those kinds of people that are making these kinds of videos, daily videos, daily vlogs. Well, they've been posting content on the internet for a long time, and they've been doing it like this. And I was always thinking, man, I want to do that, but I'm not going to be able to do that. How could I do that? And then one day it all just clicked, and it had been building for months with me thinking, like, you know what, I think I'm going to do it. And I kept thinking that, and I kept thinking, you know what, I think I'm going to do it. And I really did think, I'm definitely going to do this. I really want to do this. And as more and more I was watching videos of these people explaining what it is they do. And then eventually I just was like, oh well, you know what? If I'm copying them, or if I'm a sheeple person, if I'm a sheep who's just following the crowd, I'm just gonna follow the crowd. But it's about me. It's like I've said so many times. I'm not doing it for anyone else. I'm doing it for myself. So the reward that I'm getting back from doing this for me is making it all worthwhile. And the way that it all started is literally I walked into a shop, I had a look about, and then I saw they had a DJI Osmo Pocket 3, and I went, oh, that's that camera that YouTuber that I know that I watch sometimes that he said he uses, and I'd seen him talk about it. So I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna buy it. And my mate was like, "Oh, don't buy that; it's too expensive." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, I'm doing it anyway." Sorry, as if I was going to listen to what he was going to say, as if I'm going to let somebody else stop me from doing what it is that I want to do. Yeah, if it concerns them, if it affects them in some way, this doesn't concern them. This doesn't affect them in any way. This is something that I'm doing for me, and it has no effect on anybody whatsoever. The videos that I film are almost all 100% just of myself. I'm not filming anybody else, especially not without their consent. And if I've had friends that are included in the videos so far, it's been that I've asked them, "Hey, do you mind being on camera?" And I've made sure that I have explicit consent that they don't mind. And they said it's okay. So I'm not going around filming people. It's not affecting anybody at all. So there's no moral question as to whether I should or should not be doing this. I'm doing it for me. So if I think I should be doing it, then I'm the only one who gets to decide whether I'm going to do it or not. And I'm doing it. So no one's going to stop me at this point. I'm going to keep going. I'm getting way too much out of it. And I'm not interested in the opinions of other people when it comes to them trying to limit me in some way to stop me from actually achieving the goals that I want to achieve in life. And this has been one of them. It's just make a daily video. It's that simple. If you're watching this and you have like some strong disagreement with like, oh, you shouldn't be doing this, then just go away. Watch someone else. You don't have to watch this. No one's making you watch this. I'm not making you watch this. I don't want you to watch it. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. If you stop watching this video, I'm not going to lose any sleep. Piss off. You're better off doing yourself a favour if you don't like what you see, and go watch something else anyway. You'd be doing me a favour as well because I don't have to put up with thinking about your opinions. I don't care about your opinions. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it for me. Made up this food. Got some burgers, mixed them with some rice, with some peas, and some stock, vegetable stock, and tomato soup. Not tried it yet, it's too hot. It's 4:12 a.m. I woke up today at midnight. I think I fell asleep about 5, 6, 7 p.m. I actually have no idea exactly what time I fell asleep. I was doing a bit of drinking before. I had some Strongbows at my friend's house. Then I got a taxi back here. And dropped all my stuff. No, I say dropped all my stuff. I mean just I took a suitcase from his house, so I put it down, and then I just pretty much went straight to bed. I think because I was a little bit drunk, it just seemed like it would be a nice thing to do. It's just, oh, I'll just have a nap, even though it was a bit early. But then ended up waking up at midnight, and then I'm wide awake. So I've been awake since then. It's now 4 a.m. Keep looking at my hair all the time now, and I'm thinking about like, what should I do with this hair that I've got? Should I cut it? Should I style it? Should I just shave it all off? I don't like it being in my eyes. I like to keep it out of my eyes, but I don't necessarily like having very short hair. Although I do that much of the time. I may well just go for another shave for just pure convenience. The last time that I got my hair cut, I think was about probably just under a year ago. So I guess this is what a year's worth of length looks like, at least for me anyway. Um, at least I think that was when the last time I got my hair cut. If it is when I remember it was rightly, then I was in Angel. If you don't know what Angel is, it's a region or a borough or a district of London, the city of London in the United Kingdom. You might have heard of it. Um, I was in Angel. What was I doing in Angel? Yeah, I had to stay there for about a week. Wait, was it about a week? No, it was way less than that. Yeah, I stayed there. I think 3 or 4 nights in an Airbnb in Angel, just because of what I had going on, and the Airbnb turned out to be not so great. I didn't like it in there. I didn't like the atmosphere. I didn't like the way that it was laid out. Um, it just wasn't a good spot in my opinion. I didn't feel like comfortable, safe, relaxed. I just felt a bit edgy and just not for me, not for me, not for me. But that was like it was quite far up the road from Angel sort of station, heading up towards. Uh, I'm not sure actually where it's going towards. Where is it going towards now? I don't remember, but it was heading out of Angel into what seemed like a bit more of like a sketchier bit. It turned out to be like okay for 3 nights. I ended up just or 4 nights, or I think it was 3 nights. I don't know. And every night when I got home from the day of being out or whatever, I was watching the Sidemen show that they put together. What was that Sidemen show? Inside. Yeah, that was it. It was just when that Insides program came out. So this was like last year, and I was watching some of that, and I was quite sort of hooked on it at the time. I was watching it like as soon as it came out, uh, and it was okay. Um, I think that was the first season. That was before the second one came out. I didn't. I started trying to watch the second one, but I didn't really like it. But yeah, while I was an Angel, I went to like a few different. Um, I went to I think two different coffee shops there. Don't remember what the names were, but they were both pretty nice and good experiences. And yeah, I managed to get a haircut when I could down on the Market Street. I actually don't like Angel that much. It sounds like a nice place in theory, but it's for me not really the kind of place that I actually like to live. I like Kensington a lot more, and that might be where it is that I actually end up when I go back. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be looking at estate agents in Kensington and trying to find a place that's like close to Kensington High Street. I think that's where I'd like to be around there. I think that would be the best area for me um, with what's going on. Um, and it just feels a bit more right. You get a natural sense of attraction towards the place that you sort of see as being a preference, and that's the clear picture that I got in my head right now. The other places that I was considering was like Brighton, Oxford, and Cambridge, and I might still check them out. Like I've not actually been there before, so it would be it would make much more sense to go and just spend a bit of time there and see what it's like, and then see what I actually think first. So that's probably going to be the potential trips that come out for just for personal reasons, not for anything work related. But obviously, there's always going to be a work related element now. Um, so yeah, I could go and do like maybe one day in Brighton, maybe 1 week. I don't even know. I'd probably like to keep it less than 1 week. I'd probably do like 3 nights in Brighton, 3 nights in Oxford, 3 nights in Cambridge. But even that might be too much. Quite often less is more. But then I guess it seems like a natural thing to think that if your plan is to try and check out a place with the intention of possibly getting a place there, then spending a bit more time there makes more sense, seeing as you're going to be spending a lot of your time there if you're living there. So it'd be good to get an idea of what it's like, on a regular basis. But um, it's not like you can actually really figure that out too well, just from spending a short amount of time there, because you might get an incredibly positive impression, or you might get an incredibly negative one, and probably neither of those would be really very accurate, like compared to how your perspectives or opinions develop on a place over sort of months or years. But I don't think I'm going to be encroaching into the territory of years anymore, unless London is the only place that I can really see myself living in for years, for decades, just because of the way it is, because of the way it's structured, because of the way it's set up. It makes more sense to me, and I do like to keep moving constantly. Not for any reason other than that I find novelty to be something that actually stimulates my sense of purpose, and makes everything seem kind of worth it to be exploring new territory on a regular basis. That's what I really like to do. So that doesn't work really too well with any kind of work, apart from lots of different kinds of work, which do actually work with that kind of way of living, obviously. And I'm willing to travel and go where I need to go in order to get what I want to do done. But I'm only doing what I want to do. Like, I'm not making choices for anyone else anymore. I'm just doing what it is that I want to do. So if there's an opportunity that appears that's like not the perfect opportunity, then I'm much more likely to just say, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that, and then just not do it. And I've got no issue with like bowing out when I'm not getting what I want from the situation, because there's no point continuing on if I'm not happy. It's not good for me. It's not good for anyone else involved in the situation. So there's no point. I really think if anyone is getting involved in situations that they're not okay with, they should just get out of there straight away and just go back to whatever it was you were doing before. Um, don't make any. Um, don't make any. What's the word? What's the word? Like, don't swap out your preferences for anyone at any point, unless they're providing you with a way of thinking or acting or being that you actually agree with as being better to what you propose. But if you're aware that you've got ideas that you want to stick with, then you're better off to take yourself somewhere else and to set things up for yourself and to make everything your individual responsibility, not working with other people. Like, there's no reason now in the day and the age and that we live in, there's no reason to actually work with other people, other than the reason that you actually want to. So when you get into situations that you actually want to be in, then it makes sense to actually get involved with those people and in those situations and in those and go to those places and whatever it is. But if you're not interested, then you're better just to stay out and just keep it to yourself. And you're much better off keeping it to yourself when you're not interested in what other people have to offer. Because if you become self-reliant, self-reliable, then you can create the situations and the kind of lifestyle and everything that you want, and you don't really have to look for anyone else to provide you with anything. It's great to do like an exchange with other people who have a quality of um, intention that is of a similar level to your own or beyond your own, but you should accept no less in terms of your standards for what you yourself know to be the way that you want to be. And when you've got that all straightened out in your mindset, it's like that's half of the work that you have to do is just get your mindset in the right place. And then that makes everything just occur. Everything just sort of just takes place. Everything just sort of unfolds perfectly when you get your head right, you get your head straight. And then that's how you can progress. So it's not so much about making any situations through any kind of effort, more just adjusting your mind to reach the place where that's not an issue and it's just incredibly straightforward and it all makes sense. And you're now not thinking about what to do when. It's it's so incredibly intuitive that there's no thinking required. I kind of regret the fact that I didn't stop watching YouTube videos and start creating YouTube videos earlier. I've gotten so much from doing this, just talking to this camera, that I'm left thinking, how the heck did it not occur to me that this would be a good idea like months ago or years ago? I really feel like I could have saved myself from a lot of the desperate unhappiness that I was actually experiencing if I just committed to something like this, like a daily effort. And it all makes so much sense now. But like, how the hell did I not realize this stuff? How was I so stupid and so blind? I just can't believe it. And I'm never going to back. I'm never going to go back now to the way it was. You know, I'm going to keep this thing going. I'm going to see how long this is going to run for. I have no idea. I really don't. But I'm doing it. I'm still doing it. It's looking pretty sunny outside. I'm sitting here, sitting inside. It's 9:40 a.m. I went back to sleep a few hours ago. And now, a few minutes ago, I just got back up. So, it's Saturday. And I've got to think about what it is I'm going to do today. I was going to go to Warrington and take the shoes that I've got over there and drop them off at my mum's house. So that she can keep a hold of them whilst I'm moving. But then yesterday she texted me saying she's not feeling so good. She has a cold, quote unquote, and she wants to have a lie-in. So it's better that I don't come tomorrow. That's what she said yesterday. So initially I said, well, can I bring the shoes round anyway? And then she said I could leave them in the recycling bin outside. Not to be recycled, just so that she could collect them from there and then put them inside. But since then, I've been thinking about it, and it seems like she doesn't want me to go there. So I decided I'm not going to go there. So I'm not going there today. That's what I'm not doing. Now I just have to decide what I am doing instead of that. And I'm not entirely sure what I am doing instead of that. I don't know what to do. I'm just waiting for my house to be sold so that I can then go where I want to. If I want to get up and go out, I can do that. But I don't want to. I just don't think there's anything really out there for me. Nothing good. Nothing interesting. Maybe I should just get on with doing something, even if it's not good. Even if it's not interesting. Just so that I'm doing something. Just so that I'm active. I don't know what I could do, where I could go. I could just go for a walk. I don't really want to do that. But maybe I've reached the point of having to do the things that I don't want to. Of which there are many. There are many things that I don't want to do. But I'm not willing to do any of them. So what I'm going to do instead is just stay here and only do what it is that I do want to do. What it is that I do want to do is that I don't really want to do anything. I can get up and just move around inside the house. That's not very interesting. But I can do that so that I'm getting a bit of movement, so that I'm getting at least a small amount of exercise. That's okay. I can do that easily. I could take that outside for no reason. I could go to a shop and just buy something for no reason. I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do that. Because there's no reason to do that. So, what I am going to do is I'm going to just continue doing whatever it is that I want to do. And if that looks like not a lot, then I guess that's okay with me. I guess not a lot is just what I'll do. I don't want to do anything for any reason. And I don't want to do anything full stop. End of sentence. So what am I to do? What do you do when you don't want to do anything? Do I try and motivate myself? Do I try and make myself do something that I don't want to do? Or do I try and make myself want to do something that I don't want to do? I guess the way I said those all seem fairly reasonable, as it's only me and myself. So I guess in that respect, it only matters really what I want to do. Do I want to motivate myself somehow? I'm not sure how to motivate myself, to be totally honest. I'm not sure that it really works. I'm not sure that an attempt to motivate myself actually does motivate myself. And I still don't have an idea of what it is that I want to motivate myself to do in particular. So that means that's another thing that I don't want to do. I don't want to motivate myself to do something, whether I'm sure or unsure what that is. I'm sure I could come up with some better thoughts than this, but this is what I got right now. So that's what you get. I'm reminded of the song we used to sing in primary school. And it was the one that says, you can't go around it, you can't go under it, can't go over it, we have to go through it. That was the song we used to sing. And that's just the way it is for me now. I've become that person again. I have to go through it. There's so many things to think about, but I don't know what they are. So many things to do, but I don't know what they are. What do I think about? What do I do? I don't know. Why do I need to know that? That doesn't matter to me. And it's me who's going to think about it. It's me who's going to do it. So if it doesn't matter to me, it doesn't matter. That's the end of it. I don't really need to explain that to anyone. I will, but I don't need to. I think I've very recently started to resolve a lot of the thoughts that I didn't finish off, even at like a very young age. Things that I was thinking about when I was in primary school, 5, 6, 7 years old. Some of these thoughts have actually been coming back to me recently. And I've actually started to figure out some of the answers to the questions that I actually had way back then. And it's amazing to realise that that part of me still exists somewhere in the depths of my consciousness. And all it took was the personal decision to recreate a version of psychotherapy by pointing a camera at myself and then talking, for me to get to the bottom of a lot of what these thoughts were, the so-called open loops that I've now been able to close with understanding. And it's like what I was saying earlier about, I wish I had started doing this earlier in my life. But I guess there's no going back and changing that now. And it's the same thing. I wish I'd been able to come to the place where I could make sense out of what was going on earlier in life, and then I could actually receive the gifts that were waiting for me. But I can see now that there's lots of things that I just wasn't able to receive because I hadn't finished off the picture that I was piecing together, even at a very young age. And now I'm starting to make so much more sense out of everything. I think a lot of what I realised was when you're talking, when you're very young, when you're trying to explain yourself, when you're thinking out loud, everything that I would say would make perfect sense to me, but the way in which it would be received would be that people didn't understand what it was I was trying to say. And so I ended up thinking that I shouldn't be saying what I'm saying because it's not making sense to the people that I was talking to. Since I've started talking to this camera, I've started saying whatever I want to say, whether I think it's making sense or not, and whether I think it makes sense to me, or whether I think it would make sense to other people or not. And that's brought me back to this place of like resolving that sort of thought process that I developed at quite a young age, of thinking I can't just say what I want to say because the reception, the reaction I get is not the kind of one that I was looking for. And if I was now looking back towards someone in that situation, I'd try and encourage them to keep talking, whether you make sense or not to somebody else. Don't let that be the reason for you to stop. And if you find you want to talk a lot more, then you have the ability to do, because the people around you who think they have the authority to not allow that, then get a camera and just go talk to a camera. And then you can get everything you want to get out. If I'd have had a better childhood in terms of role models to look up to and people to respect, maybe my life would have turned out completely differently. Maybe everything would have been okay. Maybe it all would have been perfect. Maybe I would have never had any kind of fall from grace or um, to feel like um, anything ever happened that was just less than absolutely a-okay. I mean, it is the human experience, and it's not very clear as to whether those kinds of situations that we don't like are actually unavoidable or avoidable. It may just be the case that we have to go through things that we don't want to, and it seems pretty evident that that is the way it is. But that's only a cold hard realization after the acceptance of whatever it is that's happened, because you have to figure out a way to understand it. But that doesn't mean it has to be like that going forwards, because there was a point in time where life all just seemed to work out in exactly the right way, and there was no real issue in just getting on with it. I mean, it's a totally different story to be a kid because of the way that your life is structured and the way that there's a bias towards uh, making sure that children are okay and protecting them and everything. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be that bias because of the word bias. I think there should, but I think there is a bias, obviously. But that's right. People should take care of children more than they take care of adults, because children need to be taken care of more than adults do. Adults can look after themselves at least to some degree. Most of the time, in rare exceptional cases, they can't do that. But kids will always need help with things, so there has to be adults around to help them. So, what am I going to do now then? I guess I'm going to sit on my computer for a bit more. I don't want to do that, actually. I really don't. But I don't want to do anything. So, I don't know what to do. Maybe I should call up some of my friends and see what they're doing. It's 12:30 p.m. on a Saturday. So I would bet that there'll be people free. They won't want to come around here though, because it's too far for them to walk, and I don't want to go out. I'd like to stay in if possible. So for that reason, I don't think I will call them. But for that reason, I'll be left with nothing to do, and I'll be on my own. So I wish I could just instantly know what it is that I want to do. And then just be able to do it straight away. But it just doesn't seem to work like that a lot of the time. I'd like it to work like that. If it could work like that, that would be good. But whenever I'm thinking like that, it always leads to me picking up the camera and starting talking. So maybe without that, I would have no video. I heard people talking recently about how boredom is what makes you do something creative, and that when you don't have any boredom and you don't do anything creative, so they were trying to say that boredom is good, boredom is necessary. You have to have boredom in order to find something to want to do. You have to strive. But I'm not really bored. I mean, it could come under the definition of bored. I'm more just have lethargy and just insecurity, not knowing what it is that I want to do, and not having the energy to think, not having the energy to do the things that I think I could do. But even though I'm thinking of them as things that I could do, and that's how I'm categorizing them, I also actually know and understand and realize that I can't actually do them because I can't bring myself to. So that means I'm here again, proposing another conundrum to the camera in order to hope that I can find some resolve by untangling the psychology of what's going on. And that definitely works. It's worked for me many, 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 many times before. I think what I'm stuck on thinking is that there has to be directions that are specific, that are taken, that are outside of the understanding of what it is that you're doing in the moment. And I realise now there doesn't have to be. And it's like your thoughts and your actions lead you to wherever they lead you. And whether you think that's the right thing or not, it has to be the right thing because it's what you're doing. So whatever it is you're currently doing has to be the right thing for you to be doing. And you might think, well, you have to think of something else to do in order to move away from what it is you're doing and go towards what it isn't that you're doing, so that you create a choice and a distinction as to doing something better than what you're doing. So let's say you're watching this video and you start thinking, okay, I shouldn't be watching this video, I should be doing something else. You have to try and decide what it is that you want to do. That's the something else. But then you also have to feel like what it is that you're going to want to do is going to be better than what it is that you're doing. Otherwise, there's no motivation to do it. If you think that whatever it is you're doing, but what, like right now, i.e., watching this video, if you think that is the best thing that you could be doing, then you're just going to keep doing that. And there may be a bit of an internal conflict that goes on where you keep thinking that I don't want to do this, and then you go back to thinking, okay, well, I'll just watch a bit more. And then that goes on for a while. And that creates a bit of an unpleasant sort of resentment towards your own self, thinking, well, why can't I even just make my mind up as to what I want? Why do I have to keep oscillating and fluctuating in the way that I'm thinking? I don't want to be doing that. But that's what happens. I don't like the experience of that personally. And it would be nice if I didn't get like that. But I have gotten like that many times before. And it leads to interesting thoughts that can be explained. So it can be the substance for creating a great video for me. But I don't know what else to do with that now apart from that. All I can do with that now, when I have that indecision, is start explaining what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking to this camera. And then that seems to bring some peace out of the insecurity and hopefully progress me forwards into different ways of thinking and new ways of thinking, or no thinking at all. Take me out of thinking and put me into action. It's completely possible. And it does happen. I might go out eventually and grab an energy drink. There's got to be something good going on out there. A lot of the time it's not, so I just don't go out. But sometimes there's something at least half decent going on. I don't really want to get involved with anyone or anything. I actually like my own company much better than I like being with anybody else. And I'm quite content just staying here where I am and not really doing anything at all. I don't really like doing anything a lot of the time, so I just don't. And it's not like I'm being forced to do anything, whatever that means. If a person could even force you in some way, which I'm not sure they can. I think that people in particular can bring you motivation to do something, but that's not a negative connotation like forcing is. There's a positive connotation to that. There's a positive feeling associated with that. It changes your mood from feeling like you don't want to do something to you do, but you're happy about it. And that's good. That's the optimal. That's what you want. If you're going to want to do something. But I'm the kind of person who constantly has the thoughts that I need to be doing something, or I should be doing something. And really, to address that, there is no such thing as need, and there really is no such thing as should. That all comes from looking to positions of authority for instruction. I don't look to positions of authority, and I don't want instruction. I'll make my own mind up what it is that I do. But because people that have that sort of sadistic desire, because they've managed to imprint their thought processes on me somehow, that's left me with this lingering feeling and thoughts that for some reason I should be doing something. It doesn't really matter whether I do something or not. Not today, nor any day. I don't work for anybody else. There's no one here that's my boss. So there's no one who can even try to tell me what they think I should do. And even if they try to do that, it's just what they think I should do. And I have an idea of what I think I should do as well. And the most important person who gets to decide what I should do or what I shouldn't do is me. It's not anyone else. All these workplaces that are existing out there are full of like these really, 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 really bad people. And they're bad people because of the way that they try to control others. If you try to control other people, that means you are a sadistic psychopath. And there's many of those in many workplaces. If you want a functioning workplace, then it means making the effort to negotiate with people around you, asking them directly what they want, as well as interjecting with what you want. Then you get a workplace dynamic that functions in a way that's pleasant for everybody. It's not pleasant when you don't have a well-functioning workplace dynamic. It makes it so you have no interest in being at work. It makes it so you have no interest in doing anything that anyone wants you to do. At least specifically the people that are trying to tell you what to do in a way that you don't like. Because it's all about the fact that they have supposed authority. But if you get into a work situation like that and you feel like there's a dynamic that's occurring that you're not okay with, just get out of there. Don't put up with it. Go find something else to do. And here's the biggest secret. You don't have to work. You don't. Despite what the commoners say, you don't have to work. And you most certainly don't have to listen to so-called public opinion. Not that there is such a thing. There's no universally agreed upon set of ideals or morals that is commonplace. There's lots of differing ideas amongst people as to what they prefer, and there's even differing ideas amongst one person, an individual, about what they prefer. So if you realise that you're not even sure what you think, why would you be sure that anybody else is really sure what they think? They might say they are. It doesn't mean they are. The people that are more sure, the people that appear to be more sort of definite and absolute in their opinions, they're the ones that are the most insecure. They have the most doubt. That's why they feel the necessity to try to be so assured in their opinions. It's because they're going through an internal struggle and they're trying to win by choosing a side and sticking to that side. You don't need to choose a side. You don't need to stick to a side. You don't even need to present a balanced argument. You don't need to present an argument. You don't need to have anything. You don't need to do anything. You can, but you don't need to. That's the difference. People think that they need to do something. They use that word need. What does that word need mean? It's like it's an imperative. If you don't do that, then there will be severe consequences or something. Yeah, what if you don't do that and there's no consequences? Or what if the consequences aren't consequences? What if whatever happens is whatever happens? What if you had no choice anyway? What if the illusion of choice was just an illusion? Trying to control anything means being doomed to fail and to realize the lack of control that you have. So, why try to take control at all? Why try to have control? Well, the reason that people try to have control is to feel like they're important. It's an ego boost. They think that's what people look up to and respect, and some people will, but lots of people won't as well. So you can continually try to make everybody's ideals come true, and that's a good way to think, but there will always be a certain percentage or portion of people whose ideals you just cannot make true. Because, well, you just can't. Because what your actions and activities are is what is aligned with a concept of higher power that is above and beyond our control, that we become aware of in moments, and people don't accept this as being a consideration within the way they think, but it will just simply be revealed to you time and time again that there is so much outside of your control. And when you question, well, how is this all happening? If you don't find an answer, you just have to give in, give up, and stop trying to control. And when you stop trying to control, then you find a relief from feeling the necessity to try and control. If you think that trying to control situations is what is gonna make it go your way, when it actually works, you gain this conviction that it was true, that you could control situations. It's not true. You can try to, but if it actually works, it's purely luck based. A lot of the time it doesn't work, so it may make more sense to say that as a basic rule of thumb, there's no reason to even try and control, because you won't get what you want a lot of the time anyway. Why not, if it's all luck based, why not just leave it up to luck? Because luck is what occurs to you, whether you want it to or not. As far as I know, you don't have to try to be lucky, although some people have developed more ideas around the concept of luck that do explain the element of attempting to be lucky. And I understand that, because luck is based on the concept of luck is based on individual perception. So that means an individual person has a sense of what was lucky to them. That may not appear to be lucky to other people. To other people, it may appear to be explained through different reasoning. But to a person who says it's lucky, they may or may not have an idea of what it is that they do constantly to make them feel more or less lucky. So if you can do something that makes you feel more lucky or less lucky, then there's a degree of control in the process of making yourself feel lucky. Now, making yourself feel lucky isn't the same as being lucky, because being lucky is just an idea. It doesn't really exist fundamentally. It's not really a universal ideal that is unshakable. It's one of the concepts that has perhaps the least credibility because it's close to impossible to define what luck is. Of course, there's a dictionary definition, as there is for many things, but there's a lot to be doubted, which seems commonplace to me, in the idea of what luck is. I find it interesting to consider that there may be more to it than what I think, and that by opening my own mind personally to considering new thought processes, I may be able to find more of what is referred to as luck myself. That definitely could be a possibility, and I'm always open to possibilities. I'm always open to the idea that magic could be real, because it's quite an attractive it's quite an attractive idea to have, to think that things could be possible that you previously thought impossible. That sells you the allure and the illusion of eternal life, and it also sells you the danger of the way in which power can corrupt. And you see that in like Harry Potter films where magic is accepted as real, and there are the different schools of magic, different classes or groups or whatever, and there's some that are good, quote unquote, and there's some that are not so good. And that's because certain people, when presented with the idea that they can have extraordinary abilities, will absolutely attempt to misuse those for the sake of developing personal power. And that's a great metaphor for real life itself. One of the greatest superpowers that you can have in life is to have excessive amounts of money. That's a kind of a superpower. But as to whether there is real magic, I would say yes, there is, because everything that exists is quite magical. Just in the just based on the fact that it is apparent at all, shows me personally that that is quite indescribable, and therefore to me magical. And obviously there is the power of the mind, which can be used to create illusions and to manipulate perception. That's quite obvious. Just go and watch anything that Darren Brown has done, and you'll see that he uses psychology to affect people as many charismatic individuals do use psychology to affect people. Now, what is the difference in using psychology to affect people and magic? That is, in a sense, magic. You spell a word, and that is in itself a spell, because words have power. Spells are made up of words, and spells have a chemical effect on a person. So words affect people. That's an undeniable fact. So everyone that can speak has the power to access magic. So what's the difference between you and Houdini? Not a lot. Apart from he's slightly better at escaping. I went to the shop and I got the cash. That's good. Just been to the town centre. It was okay at first. It was alright for a little bit. There was kind of a little bit more of a half decent kind of air, but still just like countless idiots at the same time. So, I fucked off out of there and gone back to the gaff. And I'm not going to be going out again at all now, really. If I can actually not go out at all between now and actually selling the house and moving, then that's exactly what I'm going to do. It's really not worth going anywhere when you're in a local area that has so many like stupid, arrogant sort of idiots. I'm not wasting my time being anywhere near them. I don't want to hear what they have to say. I don't want to see them. I've no interest in them at all. I really do feel like it's just a waste of time going out anywhere in this area. It might just be the north. It's like people are stupid up north. I think that's a big part of it, because it's completely different down south. So I'm going to be heading back there ASAP. Between now and then, I'm just sort of putting up with being here, but not wanting to be here, and definitely not going anywhere near any of the people that actually live here, because they're just like really, really, really not very nice, not very pleasant. So there's no point really going anywhere close to them. I may as well just stay away. I really don't care how long it takes. As long as I'm getting out of here, that's all I really care about. And I most definitely am. Obviously, the house is going to sell, no issue. And then I can just like leave behind these absolute fucking morons and get on with my life, go back to where I was, pick it up where I left off. And that'll work out great. I won't have to see their faces anymore. And between now and then, I'm not going to see their faces either. because I'm not going to go out anywhere. It's not worth it. I don't know what the change is going to have to be that's going to have to occur to make this place great. But it's more than likely going to be something very drastic, very fast, and very unpleasant. And that might be the only way that any of the people actually wake up to what is going on around them. Because right now they have no idea. That's what I mean about being stupid. They're so stupid. They can't actually see properly what actually exists around them. And I'm not sure how it's actually possible to end up like that. It doesn't really make any sense at all how you end up in such a state. Just like a mess of a person. But then thinking you've got it all figured out. Like to be literally falling apart, but to be thinking you're intelligent and you've got everything figured out. How can you be so stupid? So there's no real humility amongst the people. That's why I said arrogant. There's an overwhelm of arrogance. People who think that they know what it is that makes them greater when they have literally no idea what it is, because they're not that great. It's just an idea. It's like a comfort blanket of an idea that, in comparison to what they really think, to what they really feel, makes them feel a little bit better about themselves, or at least that's what they think, but it doesn't actually do that. The idea is like that you need to be confident, but that means they try to act intimidating. And the reason they act intimidating is because they are intimidated. People who are scared try to act scary. If they weren't scared, they wouldn't feel the need to act scary. Simple solution. Find out why you're scared. Stop being scared. Adjust your thought process to understand what it is you're scared of, and then work towards alleviating that fear. Then you don't have to act like such a prick. Then people might actually like you. And people might not refer to you as like, there's that dickhead. I'm not really doing much now. Just drinking coffee. About to watch a video on Jordan B. Peterson YouTube channel called The Hidden Man, Piers Morgan, episode 295. Pretty sure I've watched it before. I think it's just an interview between Piers and Jordan. And they're both people whose content I watch. I watch Piers Morgan, uncensored, YouTube, here and there. He's quite entertaining sometimes. And he brings a lot of people together for like interesting conversations. They often just like shout over each other and don't let each other speak. It's a bit of a shit show. But I guess that's part of what's entertaining about it. It's a bit out of control. But yeah, there's plenty of people watching that, so they already know all about that. And then Jordan Peterson. I've just watched him talking to Joe Rogan mostly. And he's somewhat interesting. He says some interesting things. Recently I watched some of his lectures that he put out on his YouTube channel several years ago. There's various ones that have come out at various times. I think, as far as I know, it was back when he was teaching at a university, which I believe he still is, that because he's created his own university now. But I don't know him personally, so I can't say much more than that. But in terms of the content he puts out, I watched some of it, and I think he's got some good ideas. So that's that. My personal philosophy on consuming content is I try to consume. Well, I don't try to consume anything, but I watch like a variety of different people's content, which has them sharing a variety of different views, and it's not like people hold specific views that don't change over time. Of course, it might seem that way, but that's just not an accurate way of actually explaining what it is that someone is doing. If you think that a person's views haven't changed over time, then you just haven't observed them for long enough to actually see the changes. Because you will absolutely, with 100% certainty, see the changes if you observe a person long enough. All of their views change, their worldviews, their political views, their personal beliefs, their ideals, their ideas. It all changes. And no one person can keep hold of the same ideals and the same sets of beliefs if they wanted to. You just don't have the ability to do that. I mean, you literally will end up being presented with physical symptoms like headaches and pain that will make it so every time you attempt to associate with a certain set of ideals, thoughts, or beliefs, it will become physically painful for you to do so, and that will initiate the change in thinking, because that will be the only way to escape from the physical symptoms. So people create their physical symptoms through their mentalities. That's a lot of how people create the conditions of health, or the lack of the conditions of health. It's a reflection of the mental state. That's what it is. It seems like a pretty stupid idea to think that someone would care about what happens if it has no effect on them whatsoever. And that's the position I've reached now, is that people think that something is happening when nothing is happening, and they're just living out some sort of fantasy fairy tale in their mind of how they're going to manage to upset somebody. Guess what? There's no one there to upset. I'm already done with all that. I've already processed all that. It means nothing to me. So I don't care. Like, you can do whatever you want now. And you can think that I care about it. And you can think that it's affected me in some way. But that's just not true. So I don't really know what to say much more than that. The interesting phenomenon that actually takes place is that when people see a part of themselves that is suffering in you being reflected back to them, they think that's you when it's not. It's a reflection of themselves that they're seeing in another person, because another person can help you see yourself. If you're aware that they have that ability to do so, then you could recognize that that is you that you are looking at in the other. If you don't have the ability to know that, to see that, then you think it is them. And if you have the misguided predation towards sadistic sadistic conflict, then you might think that you've won some sort of victory over another person who is just reflecting to you yourself. But when you know that it's you yourself, which it only takes usually a very short amount of time for that to become apparent, then you have to understand what it is that you've done and then actually repent. Try to change your ways, correct your thoughts, correct your actions, and then work towards doing better in the future. But until then, like, you're not going to have the friends that you think you do. You're not going to have the friends that you think you will. Not that you need them. And you might not want them. Oh, well. That's a conflict, because you could think that you do want them. And that would mean that you do. But they may not want you. If they do, then it works. If they don't, that works too. If you can take it or leave it, then that makes you much better off. But no one is going to be interested in talking to you at all for as long as you still have the sadistic tendencies that you do. If you don't know what sadistic means, get a dictionary, have a look. Oh yeah, and I've already said this many times, but I'm not going to stop making this video. I'm going to keep doing it. And you really have to be stupid to think that you're going to be able to stop me. And you really have to be stupid to think that you would even want that. If you don't want to watch it, then don't watch it. That's no issue. I don't care. But don't try and stop me just because of whatever thought you have about yourself. Keep the thoughts about yourself to yourself. Don't make it about someone else. That's called a projection. No one's interested in hearing your projections. They're just not. You're thinking what is applicable to you for yourself is applicable to another person, which it isn't. It's not going to work like that. What works for one person doesn't work for another person. To think that you can take what is meant for you in your thoughts and apply that to another person, you don't even have the right to do that. It has nothing to do with you. If they're not doing anything that affects you in any way, then you have no reason to chip in with any kind of opinion. You should just keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself. That's it. So, until you understand that, you will continue to be an idiot. And that's all you are, an idiot. I'm going to have to come up with more ideas for the video, but I'm not. Instant, quick. That's it. Again, I'm making this for me. I'm not making this for you. That's it. I don't need to hear what it is you have to say. What have you got to say? You don't have anything to say. Why do you not have anything to say? Why do you not have anything to say? Because you're not there. Because I'm not making this for you. I'm making this for me. Thank you. What I'm going to be doing now is not a great deal of anything in particular. I am just now waiting for the weeks or the possible months that it will take for me to get out of this house. So that's not what it sounds like to you. It is what it is. And it's a very, very positive thing. People who like to impose a negative on another person's positive, they're simply just, like I said before, projecting on the reflection, having not accepted what it is that you are. That's it. It's very simple. So I will be making some food in a bit. I've just finished off like the pan of food that I made yesterday. And then what it is that I want to eat next is going to be all the pies that I've got stacked up on the shelf. So it's not going to be another pan of food today. It's going to be pies. I'm thinking about putting 2 in at the same time and then just putting one to the side and having one. But I'm not super hungry yet. I've actually just finished off the pan of the food that I made yesterday. And that means Oh no, not that means. And basically, I'm not going to be doing another pan today. Not that you need to know that, but you're watching this video in order to hear what it is that I have to say, and that's what I've got to say. So, I don't have to keep it interesting because it's for me, it's not for you. So, I don't really need to hear any sort of advice or criticism. I don't need to hear anything. I don't want to hear anything. I don't care. So, whatever your comments are, I really don't care. It's not going to have any effect on me whatsoever. You might think that it does. It doesn't. Um, I've got my book that I'm supposed to still be working through little by little, but I've not really been actually doing that for at least a few days now. I've just been doing the videos and then focusing on what I can do to get the house cleared out, and that's all I'm really thinking about. I need to figure out some other activities to do in the short term between now and leaving. I can't really think of anything in particular that I'd really like to do around here because it's just not very nice around here. There's not many nice people. There's no one that I really want to interact with at all. And because I have no interest in interacting with anybody that lives in this local community that I can think of, that means I'm more than likely just going to be staying in and doing these videos and spending time on the computer and stuff like that. Then once I'm out of this town and I'm in a better place, then I'll have much, much more to do, much, much more to talk about, much, much more to show off. But as of right now, I have no interest in being here at all, where I am located right now. And so I'm not going to be in any sort of communication with anyone at all in this area because these people are just simply too stupid for me to want to talk to them. I would talk to them if they could develop their intelligence at least to some degree and stop being so completely idiotic. That would leave me in a place where I may consider it, but the chances of that are very, very slim and basically incredibly unlikely. So all of that's okay with me. That doesn't cause me any issues whatsoever because I'm doing what I'd prefer to do, which is have no contact with any of these specific individuals who are incredibly stupid. But obviously, I will be continuing to do what it is that I am interested in, and basically that is just simply at the moment getting rid of this house, taking the money from that, and then going off to do whatever it is that I would like to do. And that's going to be the life that I'm going to live. And I'm not going to turn back. I'm not going to look back. And I'm not going to be coming back here at any point at all, probably ever again. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line. I'm sure I'll have completely different thoughts to what I have now. But right now, I can say pretty confidently that after I've left, I have no interest in coming back, as there is almost not even one person that I would actually be interested in talking to again. So I really don't care about whether that seems like a good idea or not. Not interested in the opinions of other people, um, especially not the idiots that try to inform me of their own intelligence, which doesn't even exist. Um, so yeah, I'm not wasting my time anymore. Now I'm just doing what I want to when I want to, and that means pretty much not talking to anyone apart from Cam. Talking to Cam the camera. That's who I am talking to. I'm not talking to anyone else at all, and I have no interest in talking to anyone else at all. I only have an interest in talking to this camera for the sake of creating a video once a day, every day. Now, obviously, everything that I've just said is just completely incorrect and will most definitely change very quickly. That's quite obvious. It always happens to be the way that that happens. That doesn't mean that there's no bullish behavior that is, creating the narrative of what it is that I just said. It's like quite clear that that's what happens. But to me, being the eternal hypocrite is um, a creation of thought that will always remain consistent. There will always be a thread of having to flip from one side to the other, or having to switch from one side to the other. If there is a duality in the process of the thinking, as two seemingly opposing ideas are juxtaposed, there are no opposing ideas. These so-called opposing ideas can interact with each other and actually be that which communicates to each other, not having to be seen as distinctly different, but can actually create a new way that is potentially technologically revolutionary in comparison to what existed before that. The house is so cold, even with the heat on. Still too cold for me. But what I don't get is that I wake up in the middle of the night because it's too hot. Maybe it's just not been on for long enough. I did turn it off before when I went out. Didn't film any of that. And then when I came back, I turned it back on. So I have to wait, I guess, for it to heat up a bit more. Anyway, it's now 6 p.m. on this Saturday. It's been a somewhat productive day. Every day is a productive day, at least to some degree. And there's no choice in the matter when it comes to if it is or not, because it has to be. And the only reason for that really is now doing a daily video. So as long as I can produce one singular video in a day, then that's a productive day. So that's my work that I'm taking on. And there's a lot more than that to do and to be done. And that itself is what is to be the contents of the video. However, that's not all the contents, as you can see. Most of what I will be showing in these videos will just be me, myself, and I. So you will get to hear more of me if you choose to watch more of me. And if you don't want to, you don't have to. So just don't. I don't care. But if you want to listen to more and you want to see more, then I'll be back every day for another video. And that will be a continuation that right now I can see no end to, as it will be just as great as it's been so far. And if anything, it's only going to get better and better and better and better with time. So, from me and from Cam, thanks for watching the video today. Appreciate you, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye bye.